welcome. I am Dr. Roz, CEO and founder of the Village Leadership Group, LLC. We are a professional learning community of teachers, educators, school leaders coming together to serve you. That's right, we're passionate about education, leadership, service, collaboration, and community. Why? Because we believe teacher leadership is a mindset, not a position. And we're here to make sure that we provide our teacher leaders with support, encouragement, resources, content, whatever is needed so that our schools are collaborative communities where teacher leadership is valued and supported. That's right. So we want you to join the village, join our community of teacher leaders. All right. Now, continue to follow us on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Facebook and Instagram at the Village LG because we're talking about education and teacher leadership. Today, we're continuing our conversation about intentional leadership with our girl, Village Elder, Dr. Sharika Simone. This again is part 2. So if you missed part 1, you want to go back within the Village Leadership Group page and revisit part 1 because it was juicy. Now we're going to dig deeper into intentional leadership. What is it? How we do it? Why is it needed? Okay, let's be intentional. Dr. Simone, welcome back.
Yes, it's great to be back with the family.
Yes. So, Dr. Simone, you're no stranger. You're an educational leader, author, expert, presenter, facilitator, coach. I can go on. Long story short, you are a village elder, one of our wonderful trainers, and you're going to be one of our trainers for the Village Academy. I heard a little birdie.
Yes.
So the cat is out the bag, you guys. We want you to again register for the Village Academy. Y'all didn't know? The Village has an online course. Set your team on fire. 3 elements to a professional learning community. And Dr. Simone is one of our trainers within the Village for additional courses. So you guys want to tune in and stay connected with the Village and be a part of the Village Academy. All right? So our first course is free. So you want to make sure that you register and sign up before October 1st. That is tomorrow. Okay? So October 1st, you want to register for our course, Set Your Team on Fire, 3 elements to a professional learning community. All right, do that now. All right, now, Dr. Simone, we're talking about intentional leadership, right? So you got to help me because we started on Tuesday and we're going to dig a little bit deeper. Now, I told the folks about our course, Setting Your Team on Fire. But I want people to know that a lot of the content, the information that we share within the course is all about intentional leadership.
Yeah.
So help me, Dr. Simone, what does it mean to be intentional and why is that important for leaders?
Absolutely. You know, I'm looking forward to this course, and I'm telling you, if you have not yet done so, the deadline is 24 hours or less away. So you have to sign up. So when we talk about intentional leadership, those are 2 powerful words, right? Intentional and leadership. Whew. An intentional person, intentional leader is one who is committed to the actions they are pursuing, they're doing, right? An intentional person is one that is committed to the action, committed to their purpose, committed to what they have been tasked to do. So when we talk about intentional leadership, we're talking about leaders who not only know what they're doing, but know the why and their purpose behind what they're doing. They're not just out there going with the wind and playing just to be there and to do that. No. That person has a purpose behind what he or she's doing and the work. But not only that, knowing the why behind the action that is taken forth.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that makes this course that we're launching stand out is that this course is not just for the department chair or the team leader. It's for all teachers. Because again, we believe that all teachers should have these leadership skills and develop their practice as leaders. So make sure that all of the teachers on your team sign up for this course. So the first module, Dr. Simone, is all about setting your team's purpose. And really knowing your why and knowing your purpose is essential. So you have to start there. Be intentional. Know your purpose. It's so important. And knowing your why, it's going to help set the foundation for your team. So when we talk about setting your team on fire and those three elements, the first part of building a fire is the fuel. That's the foundation of building a fire. Similarly, when you're talking about a professional learning community, you need fuel. And what's your fuel? Your team's purpose, your why. Again, that's the foundation of building a collaborative team culture. You have to know your team's purpose. You have to know your why. Because without it, what are you guys doing? So, Dr. Simone, have you ever been a part of a team where y'all were just meeting just for meeting's sake? It didn't have any purpose. You didn't know why you guys were even put together as a team in the first place. Just tell us how crazy and chaotic that can be when you don't have that fuel for your team.
I call it compliance. That's it. We meet, check, done. As an intentional and purposeful leader, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I am all about you letting me know. It's like a backward design, right?
Right.
Let me know what's the vision. Let me know the end result, and I can definitely fall in line, be purposeful about my actions, and move from there. Nothing is more frustrating and a waste of time than to meet and there is no purpose behind the meeting. There is no why behind what we're doing. It's like we're all there just trying to, I always say, figure our lives out, right? And as leaders, we don't, well, let me be more specific. As a leader, I do not have much time to just sit there and not know what to do. I believe one person I know mentioned, for everything we do, for every chance, hold to excellence. My church mother, I should say, Lady Shanice, it's Ishi, every chance, hold to excellence. So once I jump on the bandwagon, once I begin a process, I'm ready to go. So if we're sitting down and there's no meaning to the meeting, why am I there? Why are we meeting? What is the point? So, as an intentional leader, it is one of the pet peeves that I have, being in a meeting, being in a gathering, and not knowing the why behind being there.
Exactly. And you're not going to have any momentum. You're not going to be able to set your team on fire without the fuel. There's no excitement. There's no passion for the work if you don't have that fuel, that foundation. And how many times have you had a meeting where you're like, oh my goodness, everything that we talked about could have been an email?
Yeah.
Right? So again, if you sign up for this course, we're going to give you guys the agenda, the resources, the downloadables, everything you need to make sure that you have that fuel for your fire. Okay, so we're building a professional learning community, and you have to start with the fuel because we are being intentional and starting with our purpose. Now, Dr. Simone, the second thing that is so critical is making sure that we're intentional about knowing our strengths, right? We talked about that on Tuesday. So within our course, we talk about the oxygen for the fire. In order to set your team on fire, you need oxygen. That is the second element for building a professional learning community. So what is oxygen? That is your purpose. Again, purposeful team. You're igniting a purposeful team for optimal impact. So in order to have impact, you have to know your strengths, know yourself, know your team, and you have to make sure that you're leveraging your strengths to build that your leadership, to build your team, and making sure that you have impact, not only on student achievement, but also on teacher practice. Because again, if you're not having impact on those two things, why are you meeting? Why are you guys calling yourself a team if you're not impacting student achievement and teacher practice? It's so important that you know your strengths so that you can leverage those strengths. So, Dr. Simone, why is it important that we know our strengths?
Absolutely. As a professional, I did not just wake up one day and know that, one of my strengths is to motivate others with words, with what I say, with my interaction. Not to toot my own horn, but I consider myself someone that is approachable, someone that is able to listen keenly and the best of my ability to provide insight or help to provide insight as how to resolve problems and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So, being someone that is a professional, that is a leader, having knowledge of your strength goes a long way because it tends to let you know what you are capable of doing and to perfect on that strength. But I also want to say, don't forget about areas that you may not be so good at. And
Mm-hmm.
also tap into those areas, reach out, seek support and resources that you are able to use to turn those weaknesses into strength, right? Because as professional, we want to make sure that we are able to build on our deficits and also excel in the areas that we are strong in. So knowing your strength as a leader helps to help ensure that you know how you can be impactful. If you are someone that is able to speak life into others, you know you need to use your tongue to speak life into others, right? If you know you're someone that is able to rally individuals together and to conflict resolve, that's a strength. Use that efficiently for team building to build your community, the culture of your environment. So knowing your strength in a sense kind of ordain your path as to how you're able to impact others and to do so efficiently.
Awesome. And that this is something again all teachers on the team can identify and relate with. Because when you know your strengths and your strengths are being used, you find excitement in that. When you feel like you're not being valued, then you don't want you're disengaged. You're not a part of the team. You feel left out of the work because your strengths are not being utilized. So again, know your strengths. And then the next thing, and we kind of said this already, but knowing your strengths, you also need to know your team. So again, be intentional. Know your team. It's so, so important. And within our course, it's so important to have the heat. You have to bring the heat. If you're going to set the fire, then you have to have heat. And we want you to build a collaborative culture that spreads like wildfire. So you need to have heat. And what is heat? Building and spreading teacher leadership is so, so important. So you need to know your team. And Dr. Simone, you said this on Tuesday. Know that your team member, what type of professional development they need. You talked about, before, I think you said buying groceries or something and not knowing exactly what you need. You're wasting your time. So again, know your team, know their weak areas, know their strengths, and so that you can build them as leaders. So one of the things that you have to do as a leader is to build other leaders. And this will help build that collaborative culture for your team because we have to share the work. You don't want to be a part of a team and the one person is doing all the work, that team leader or that department chair is doing everything and everyone else is just sitting back waiting for them to do
I
all
know.
the work, right? Again, they checked out. There's
Yes.
no fire. There's no excitement. So in order to get that fire going, you have to have heat. You have to build and train your teachers as leaders. So Dr. Simone, again, this is some of the things that we talk about all the time. That's so important that build our teachers as leaders. And so we have to bring the heat if we want to make sure that our schools have these impactful professional learning communities where we're excited about coming together, getting the work done, looking at data, looking at curriculum,
Mhm.
making sure that we're improving our practice as teachers. It's so important. You got to bring the heat,
Absolutely.
develop our teachers, and know your team. Dr.
Absolutely.
Simone, help us identify, like, why is that so important,
Yeah.
again, to develop other teachers as leaders?
You know what? We cannot do it by ourselves. As much as I may think, okay, I've got this in the bag, I can do it, I can check in and get ready. We can't. When we think about we're only one person, and I say that to just a tad bit segue into when we talk about one individual doing all the work, the department cheerleader. Think about your self care. Like if you are taking on all this work, you're saying yes, you're doing your pull here, your pull there. At some point in time, you are going to, I hate to use the terminology, crash and burn, right? We have to be mindful that we are human. We are individuals with emotion. We have different deficits, right? So we have to be in tune with our self-care and also share the wealth. You know your team, you
So
know
important.
individuals who are good at work. And even if you're not sure, trust me, offer them the opportunity. You will see how they can also add to that collaborative team. One thing you mentioned, Dr. Roz, is being in a meeting and it's just one person all the time doing the work or doing the same thing. I have been there. I've checked out. Not because what is being said is not important, but I may not have felt connected or felt useful. And nothing is worse than an individual in a team that can bring impactful insight and work with the team and it's not being used. That person will check out. Why am I there? So know your team. Every person has a quality and strength that they bring to the team. All we as leaders need to do is just to check in, have that conversation. What are you good at? What do you like? And I promise you, you'll be able to find something, a strength in that person that he or she can bring to the team to further build leadership within your team.
Awesome. And there's so many different tools to help you identify your team's strengths and their weak areas or their leadership style. Within our district, we always talk about strength finders and Gallup strengths. So that is something that you guys can tune into and find more about. Again, compass points. If you're north, east, south, west, that's your leadership style and your
Yes.
personality style. I'm a south. Me, I love collaboration and I love, to serve and help and support people. That's a South. So again, knowing your strengths, my top five, again, you guys know one of my top five deals with a ranger and being inclusive and all those things that deal with the village. It seems like my top five are also all utilized within the village. And woo is one of my things too, my top five, winning others over. So I use that even at work, when we have a mandate that our team has to do, that's, it could be challenging or something that we don't want to do. I'm able to deliver the message to kind of smooth things over. So that's me leveraging my strength and using my woo to get the team on board, all right, to get buy-in. So again, you want to know your team, you want to build their leadership skills to build that teacher leadership and that collaborative culture within your school. And we want that heat and that teacher leadership to spread like wildfire. So it's not just your team, but you're building a culture in that school where teacher leadership is valued, where collaboration is seen and within the school. And of course, if we have that, then our students will be the beneficiary and their progress will be sky high and we will see student achievement improve. So again, guys, you want to register for this course. We're going to give you all of the content, all of the resources, agendas, everything that you need to bring this information to your team. Again, the whole team is going to take advantage of this course. So it's free right now. So join the Village Academy and register for this course. Thank you, Dr. Simone, for joining in on our conversation about intentional leadership. And again, you mentioned a little bit about burnout.
Yes.
So again, tell the folks about how to reach you and all the great work that you're doing.
Absolutely. You can reach me on social media. I am on LinkedIn as Dr. Sharika Dakers. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram as Dr. Sharika Simone. You can also visit my website, drsharikasimone.com, where you can connect with me. You can learn more about my book, which can now be found or purchased on Amazon, Kindle, or the hard copy. It is called Death by Burnout: Education's Dirty Little Secret. So pick up your copy. A lot of insightful information as to the lived experiences of teachers across the nation who has succumbed to burnout, overcame symptoms of burnout, or have just say, you know what, education is not for me, I'm gone. So pick up your copy on Amazon, a hard copy, or on Kindle, Death by Burnout: Education's Dirty Little Secret, or connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram, and I'll be there waiting for you.
And you can also find her within the village. Just
Absolutely.
want to throw that out there. She is a village regular, she's a village elder, and she is now a trainer within the Village Academy. So again, she'll be partnering with the Village Academy. So again, thank you, Dr. Simone, for joining the Village again today. Thanks so much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks again, everyone, for joining the Village. I hope you took some notes about intentional leadership. And also make sure that you register for the Village Academies. Our first course is launching now. So register now, pre-register while it's free. Okay. The clock is ticking. After October 1st, you will have to pay for the course. But right now, we want you guys to get the information for free. Why? Because that's what the Village is all about. We believe that teacher leadership is a mindset, not a position. So we want all of our teachers to have this information right there ready to be used so that you can set your team on fire. All right, we want you to learn the 3 elements to developing a professional learning community. So let's get it started, all right? Register. Now, there's a link somewhere down here. All right, continue to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Village LG. All right, I'm Dr. Roz, and I'll see you next time.